Hi. So, if you are a person who theoretically identifies your identity, and you might not know this about yourself until I say this, but just hang with me. If your identity is wrapped up in how people see you, right? That's the package that your essential self is wrapped in, right? That's the scaffolding surrounding your essential self, is how other people see you. And that scaffolding made by an external reality is the way that you define yourself, or the way that you perform from yourself on behalf of either giving them what they want or giving them what you think that they want of you so that you can connect to them. When we build a life based on how other people see us, let me go here. Somebody said to me the other day, and this is actually I want to clear this up because it got a little bit under my skin. Because I understand in this way, it might look like, oh, Stacy Hoch is on YouTube because she wants to promote herself and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I started my YouTube, or I stayed with my YouTube, where I know I will end with my YouTube, which is I share a message. I share my work, the work that I do in my personal life. I don't care if you do my work. I do hope and have faith that the work that I do will have an impact on your frequency, will give you pathways to open something in you that you might not have had access to, or at minimum will make you feel sane, right? That's the extent of my desire on YouTube. So I am here to share a message, knowing I've been gifted as the messenger. So a lot of people look at me and they're like, you're an idiot because you give away a lot of information for free. Well, I give away the gifts I've been given. And yes, I had to pay a lot of money to get those gifts, but I work one-on-one with people to make money, right? So my gifts, sure, that I've worked for, I give away for free. And the people who can and will want to work with me individually, that's where I make my money, right? So I would get a little bit confused along the way, because all of these coaches and all of these people would be like, dude, you're sitting on a gold mine. What are you doing? And I'm just sitting here going, hey guys, look, I picked up this gem. Look at this gem with me. Look what I saw, right? I always wanted siblings for this reason. So I could be like, oh my God, are you seeing this? So I want to deliver you a message, a frequency, and give you access to something that I've been given access to in the work that I do. I share what I see. And I like working one-on-one with people because I can share what I see of them and their purview, their inner and outer world, all of the multi-layers, right? I can share that with them, but I can control how it lands, right? So when my YouTube channel kind of exploded and I didn't expect it to, I was really just on here thinking my friends are going to watch me and feel bad enough for me that they're going to pay attention, right? When it exploded, I struggled because one, I was confused. What are they seeing? And two, I can't control how it lands, because some people don't even have the pathways, or they're not even close to the frequency enough to be able to have any access to even tidbits of what I'm saying. But when I work with somebody one-on-one, I can go, oh, there's an alley. Oh, there's a void. There's a door there that I could kind of poke at and maybe do it this way for this individual person. I can't control how the work and the message lands for you here, for millions of people, right? I've had millions of views. I can't control that. And that feels out of control, right? So for a while, I kind of, held back, I'm trying to figure out what they see. That was my biggest mistake, guys. And I was working with somebody the other day who wants me to tell her, what do you see? She's trying to do a business plan. And the thing is that takes away from the true essence of my work, because my work is for people like us. We came to have a visceral experience on the planet, right? And we've probably been talked into by society, by whatever, that we are here and we will only deserve connection if we show up the way that other people desire to see us, right? So if we build our scaffolding on the illusion, right? Because I can't control for how millions of views see me. If I tried, I would be mentally unstable, right? And that's like, I was walking a tightrope for a hot minute there. So to get back to the essence of like the work, we have to know that we're here to share what we see. And those moments lead to the message. I do not share an overall message. If somebody's like, oh, Stacy, like, what's your message? I don't know. I share my moments. And if I looked back at all of those moments collectively, I would go, holy shit, the message is so obvious. I just didn't see it. I didn't have access to the whole entire thing at the time, right? Like, so we have to operate in our lives based on what we see. And that's what we have to share if we want to be in business, if we want to be in relationships, if we want to be in anything that actually has substance, value, and love, right? And that's the other thing about this. It's like a lot of the work in my field is like, oh, you have to believe in yourself. And at this point, I know that all of my people will get to a point where it's not about believing in yourself. Your belief in that way doesn't fucking matter, to be fair. Yourself is love. The illusions that you believe based on operating in the world, how other people see you, and then that's like a, that little either pedestal or whatever that is, that can cave in very easily, right? Like that's a straw man. But if you know unequivocally, I just share what I see, and I see it and I know it. I don't have to believe in it. What I know is I see it, and the being in me that sees it already is love. Right? So it's like, oh, you have to believe in yourself. Well, your belief in yourself is not that different. And I'm not saying don't believe in yourself. What I am saying is when we have to build up scaffolding going, oh, I have to believe in myself and blah, blah, blah. It's not that different than trying to know who you are from the outside in instead of the inside out. So you are greater, honestly, than the little box that you keep yourself in, right? Because if I tried to define myself, if I tried to define you, like I have this gift of connecting dots in the energy realm that other people just can't, and it's instantaneous to me, right? If I try to say to you, hey, I'm Stacy, neurodivergent coach, mother of 4, seizure patient, blah, 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 all of that stuff, though would be true, would be too complex for one in a human language to articulate to you what the frequency of that really means, which I have a capacity to pick up on in other people for some reason. But in a higher dimension, all of those things are insanely limiting, and none of them are really who I am, right? In reality, capital R reality, I am love. And if I go, I have to believe in myself instead of believe in what I see, look at where I am, right? Like, it is beautiful. This is love in front of me, right? And sometimes and that might be actually the problem with people like me, is like, sometimes I really only think, oh my God, all of this is love, and I forget that I'm a part of this, right? I'm so in awe, I'm so overwhelmed by like what I see. This is love right here. But if I weren't standing here with the experience of it, then I wouldn't experience the this that I am, right? So if you're walking around like, I need the status, I need to prove, I need people to see me as how I want them to see me, but then you get stuck in, oh my God, how do they see me? And how do I continue to perform in that way? How do I stay in the box of Stacy's a coach? How do I stay in the box of Stacy's a mom? How do I stay in those boxes so people, ew, I don't like doing that, right? That sucks. It's so limiting, because then you aren't really who you actually are. And then you're going to go to people like me and go, who am I? Tell me who I am so I can do that thing. And I'm going to be like, nah, dude, like, no, what you are is something that you be. It's not what you do. And most people are trying to define themselves by what they have done, not by who they actually are. And my work is to help people reestablish, and not in a narcissistic way, not in a like, oh, I see this and it's correct, right? But in a way where we can get in position in the healing grid, in our own position, with our own deck of cards, not going, I wish I was that person and I wish I had that person, blah, 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 blah. When you are in your position and you can see clearly from your position, when you can operate by what you see behind the position of your own eyes and stay there instead of going, I have to go out here and figure out how I want this person to see me, blah, blah, blah. First of all, it's exhausting. If I tried to do that with 25,000 people, get behind your eyes and determine what you want from me, that's my point, right? Because that's what a codependent empath will do. And that is not embodied. And when you are not embodied, you are missing the experience that you came to have. And you're also missing the experience that you came to be. For all of the people that you're going, how do they see me? Well, how do you see, my love? How do you see? Do you see like shit? Do you only see people about how they see you? Because that's super self-centered, right? Like, how do you see? Do you see love where you look? Do you see hate where you look? I mean, I'm not saying like I'm always like lovey, right? But I know that this here, if I was walking in like some shitty space in a city, I might be like, ew, this sucks, right? But where I am is love. So I can be myself here, right? So that's another important thing, that you got to put yourself in rooms that you can tolerate what you see. That was a big thing, man. Because like, once you get out of the cesspool of the shitty, toxic frequencies you don't want to be in, but they all stay in it, and you're like, oh, wait, I belong in the cesspool, or like, wait, do I feel like I'm better than the I mean, the common denominator with my like experience about it that's negative is me, so like, do I think I'm better than the people in the cesspool that I'm walking away from? Or like, do I think I'm better just because I choose to go in a room that's like not so toxic? I don't want to leave my people. Can't they all come with me? No, they can't. They won't. It's not your responsibility, right? I've learned that the very, very, very fucking hard way. So, putting your physical body, because that's another thing. I'm sure there's autoimmune stuff here. I'm sure there's like dissociation here. In a room that it can feel safe to see what it sees. Instead of going, again, it's like I would have also been like as a kid, like I needed a sibling because I'd be like, do you see this? Like, do you see this? Like, what is... And in systems like that, everybody who you'd look to go, would you see this? Would look away. So everybody's worried about how they're going to be seen. And like, if you're a scapegoat in a narcissistic family system, nobody else wants to be that target. So everybody, when you go like, hey, are you seeing that? They're going to look away. I don't see that. Can't see that. Don't want to see that. Right? Because they don't want to be that while you sit there and are that. And they're very comfortable in you being that. But you don't have to be that. Right? So long story short, focus on what you see. Because the second you start focusing on how you're seen, you're going to build an illusion. You're going to be hollow in the illusion. Then you're going to be like, my insides and my outsides don't match, and I'm scared. Because here's another thing about this. I'm going to try to end this, man. But here's the other thing about this. You can have an inner landscape that feels like a minefield, right? And the whole world on the outside could see you as fucking rainbows and butterflies. It's a little bit how I've operated for decades, right? People can see you as something that you don't feel like you are. And if you build an illusion of, I am that thing because they say I am, you will fall off of that, or in that illusion will cave in on you eventually. And the opposite, if you're like, I feel great, I'm the best, and everybody on the outside world is like, dude, you actually fucking suck, and you should really like check yourself. Eventually you're going to cave in on yourself. So it can feel very confusing also if you are a person where your inner landscape is seen as different than your outer landscape. Want to throw that out there, right? And if you try to know yourself based only on what other people see and convince yourself that that's true because, oh, they believe it, so I'm going to believe it. Instead of, I know it, so I know it, right? Because there's been, even the other day, like somebody was like, oh, I would never think that you, like, I just see you as so strong. And like, it's like, I love that you see me like that, but that's not super my reality. Like that's not my interior design 100% of the time. Sometimes it is, but if that's confusing, right? Because when people see you as something that you don't feel like you are, you start to be like, wait, how do they see me? And like, am I that thing? And if I am that thing, like, how do I perform like that thing? And how do I keep making them? And that is a full-time job, to make people see you how they want to see you. But it is a full-time experience to walk through life and know that you see what you see. And if you've been a gaslit person, it's going to take a lot of work to get there, right? But if you're still listening, that is your work. And I believe you, right? So, one shouldn't always say that. Again, I can't control for 25,000 people, but for the most part, if you've been a gaslit person, it's going to be hard for you to trust that you can believe what you see without somebody else looking at it and going, hey, I see it too, right? That's why it's really important to have somebody to help you do the work in that way. But you cannot live your life going, my neighbor sees me this way, my kids see me this way. Even that was the thing with me with like mothering. It's like, oh my God, I had to be constantly doing something because I wanted them to see that I was like active and like doing things on their behalf. And it's like, whoa, that really doesn't give them an opportunity to actually know me as the person that I am, which would be the person who's like, you know, jumping off a rope, swings and swinging in creeks. Like, I don't want to be doing the dishes, but guess what I do? I sit there and I do the dishes so my kids know that I'm doing something for them, instead of, guys, we're going to the rope swing because this is who your mother is. This is what I see truly. But I was living in this way of like, I have to make sure that they see that I love them instead of loving them. Oh my God, do you hear this? Right? So, there's that. You will know yourself so much that you don't even have to believe in what you know, right? And not in a delusional way, but in an I am in here way. This is what I see. I don't even need you to see what I see, right? I'm not trying to convince. I'm not trying to vie for you to say that my position is correct and yours. That's not even close to what I'm saying. So please, if you're watching, do not take that from what I'm saying. What I am saying is it is possible to be unbelieved in and to stay in position and to not step out of position to make somebody else believe in you when you truly are in position, you know yourself. And that is what we're after. Because that self is love. That self is love. But every time we step out of that self, we step into something that's a dark alley in the opposite direction of love. Have a great day.